All right, welcome back, the bounty hunters. Once again, special guest, some random bum that walked off the street. The one and only the Kachung is here.
Return of the Kachung.
And Canadian. Who are we discussing tonight?
Looking at a old librarian here, just a simple lady, nothing too fancy. She may be a Jedi.
Maybe. She may be a Jedi. Jocasta Nu. Yes. The Jedi librarian to the stars. The last Jedi librarian, I assume, right? As far as we know to this point.
No, what's it called technically? Would be the Seer and what's his name from?
Oh yeah, that's canon, isn't it? I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Jocasta Nu was a Jedi who, I guess, what she always wanted to be an archaeologist. I think is kind of how they explain her. She went around collecting information, bringing it back, and then eventually they made her head librarian. Is there a actual title for that? Chief librarian or something like that?
Well, funny enough, she was actually a high council member before she became the the librarian, right? So she was on the council, and then she stepped. Would it be a step down to become the librarian, or would that be like a side step, like in the in the?
I think if you're like chief librarian, that's got to be close to a lateral move, isn't it? If you're just the person with the stamp and you're like stamping the books as they come out, then you got downgraded. But if you're the chief one,
you're in charge of the archive, so you know everything at that stage.
So,
or did she? Apparently,
I was gonna say. So, like, what do we know about her? She was super smart. She loved the library, maybe too much. She thought it was impossible that the archives could be possibly wrong. We saw that when Kenobi.
She was like, "No, you don't be bringing this in here, my house. This is my place."
Yeah, don't come in here with your conspiracy theories. And then she had a unnatural affection for Count Dooku. It seemed like she was very fond of him, which is kind of weird. But
well, how could you not? Mr. Christopher Lee.
Well, I mean, he is the most interesting man in the world. So that's kind of what we know about her. There's also obviously we're gonna fill in some details that we know, but
I couldn't find anywhere of her like birthday. Like she seemed pretty old because she was she became the librarian as Qui-Gon became Dooku's Padawan,
which is very and it's funny because if you see
that's old.
Yes, and she was also she still looked the same as she does here in the image on the screen when she was a she was a council member, like the high council member. So she didn't really, age that strongly. Because Dooku had black hair. He still had black hair when he was leaving the order.
Yeah, they never seemed to want to de-age her. Like even when she was supposed to be younger, she's always been old, right? Like she's always the same kind of old, even if it was 10 years later or whatever, she's same old. So yeah, I don't know.
I think the age I saw it was 68 BBY. 68. That's when. So that can't be right.
She was. So 68 BBY.
That must mean she was in her 40s? Because it's like 20. It's like between episode 3 and 4 is about 20 years or so. So she was in her 40s here.
Wow.
They talk about Kenobi being aged because of the twin sons on the Tatooine age fast. I guess all the LED lights coming off the books in the archives really age you to.
So, those books have the power of 2 suns apparently, because time was not
three suns going. But one other thing that's of note that's funny for her. Obviously, she has very little screen time, mostly from episode 2, as we saw. But she had a whole deleted scene, which is her talking about Dooku to Kenobi, and there's a statue of Dooku, like a bust of him in the library, and she's fawning over him, talking about oh, he's an idealist and all this. He wasn't a bad guy. He just his ideas were a little strong for the temple.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that's kind of how we know that she liked Dooku. Like that's how we kind of know. But that was a deleted scene. But even when you see it everywhere else, they still kind of use it as if that because it's such a famous deleted scene. I guess everyone just kind of uses as like, yeah, of course she liked him because remember when she was talking about him. It's like, well, technically, that was a deleted scene, so I don't even know if that's canon because that's not supposed to be in the movie.
Basically. I mean, she's the point where she's like rubbing the statue. She's like rubbing his face on the statue, and he's like, "Okay, you gotta think about this for a minute." What does the Jedi Temple preach about? No attachments here.
But I don't think they ever mentioned who her master was. Do they? Did they ever mention who teaches her? I never couldn't find it anywhere. She did have a Padawan.
The previous librarian, probably.
Yes.
Well, that's something they can always go back and fill in the blanks later in some books or something.
Well, I was gonna say for her character specifically, it's a really easy way to add more detail because the High Republic era, if you're looking to the end of it, then obviously she'd be around for it. And then speculating on whatever this Acolyte show is going to be truly about, it's following Jedi or Sith or whatever, she would be on the council, I guess, at that time. At the very prior to episode 1, she would have been on the council then. Chief Librarian was her role, by the way. I just wanted to double check that there.
And she had a blue lightsaber, right? I can't remember.
Blue, yeah. Blue lightsaber.
Well, she did, but there's obviously a little bit of story about that because
discrepancy going on.
At the very end, she has a green one, doesn't she? Did you?
Yeah, that's true. Well, she collected stuff,
She confiscated things from the children.
She was like, you're yelling too loud in the library. She snatched it from you.
Yep.
Because there's that comic book where she has the I guess we'll probably see where she has the lightsaber rifle. Have you seen?
Yes, the whatever. That's something that's never been brought up ever again, and something that maybe should get brought up.
Because the Mandalorian has one. Similar. Yeah. It's similar.
Yeah, he has the ambient blaster. This is crazy.
More like the cartoon The Rebels. They had a version of a lightsaber blaster. He had his. That's probably the closest they've come to bring that up.
Ezra.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he has his little handgun.
Then what we do know is when the fall happened, she was obviously in her library dusting the books and criticizing people for talking too loud. And she was going to do her best to save the Jedi Order by, I believe she deleted as much as she could or downloaded as much as she could, got rid of the rest, and then
downloaded it. Yeah, delete it,
and then went on the lam. She went into hiding.
You'd think of all characters who would have been in the temple and die in the temple would have been the librarian, and she's like, peace out. She just booked it.
Sure did.
No, she had a secret
She had a secret passageway.
She just pulled one of the books and she slipped into the secret room.
No. You missed the opportunity. If you rub Count Dooku's cheeks just right, like one has to go this way, one has to go this way, and then it goes and it opens up her secret passage or whatever.
No, it's like the Adam West Batman tilts the head back.
Yeah, there you go. And she has a button inside of it. So she got away because basically what she was hiding was the names of all of the Force-sensitive children around the known universe, and she wanted to hide that obviously from those yahoos. But when she had to venture back into her precious library and saw that our favorite temple guard, the Grand Inquisitor, had his feet.
No name still.
Had his feet up on the desk, going through stuff, and she just could not let it slide. She had to. She just had to say something. And
it was him throwing the book over his shoulder that triggered it the most. She's like, no.
So they begin to fight. They have a pretty awesome fight, but I think at the end, she's not really a fighter. Let's be honest. She's one of the great minds. So he was going to have the end. The lightsaber came down to take her head smooth off, and Payow! It is blocked by the one and only Darth Vader, who was like, no, No, this one's mine. I gotta do some interrogation. Bring in the little black robot. Bring in the truth serum. We got to figure some stuff out here." And he grabs her, and I think, is she the first one that hears who he really is? She might be one of the first ones in canon. Is she? Of the Jedi? Because as he goes into the underground parts, the computer recognizes
the robot identifies him as Anakin Skywalker, and then he freaks out when he hears that. He goes, "Excuse me?"
Yeah. The the library knows who he is, Anakin Skywalker, so she knows. And
the funniest part though is that you're not a master. You do not have the rank to look at this stuff here.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's still trying to pull rank on people after everything's a ruin and everyone's dead. And she's like, no, I don't believe that you've reached the rank to be able to be here. That's so awesome. So they confiscate her, and they're going to take her away so she can give up all the information needed. She fights her way out, says, "You know what? I'm going to go out like a champ. Nobody can tame me. You ain't taking me alive, copper." She hops off the edge of the building, flying through air, saying they're going to write stories about me. There will be songs written about me after I gave up myself so I don't give up those poor kids. And then what happens?
Well, she lands in one of the ships. Ship gets blown up, crash lands, and Vader stands there staring at her, and she gets blown up again and dies, presumably. And then
and then what is it, like Vader snatches her? Like, doesn't he catch her or something? And then
catches her,
yeah, and then gets the information needed out of her, and then I believe she calls him Anakin in front of all the troopers that were with him. So
yes, because they all target him because they think he's a Jedi, and Fox does not. Fox forgot to relay to his troops that he's not a Jedi. He has a big lightsaber. He's not one of them, and they all shoot at him. And he goes, and Vader's like, "You just almost lost me, that Jedi. I could have lost her because of you guys in your mistake." And he's like, "Oh, so I'm sorry. What happened again?" And he's like, "No, it won't." Just kills him outright.
And he murders everyone, so no one knows he's Anakin. Then he kills her, and that is the end of her story. It won't be though, because there'll be a cartoon or a movie or TV show that come out.
Tales of the Jedi could be there. The Acolyte, High Republic comics and books. Lots of stuff they can come in for.
Tales of the Librarian.
Tales of the Librarian. As far as she goes, I don't know. I don't know if they can expand on her character, honestly, because I mean, you could, no doubt.
Well, I want to know what's up with her and Dooku. Did they have any? Was it one-sided? Like Dooku's like, "Please get away from me. I do not want to be associated with you at all." Or was he reciprocating?
But because like to make it cool, it would be like she has like unknown knowledge and like secret knowledge, like that would make it cool. But if she had that and she used it, it didn't change anything, which is something that Disney would totally do, but it doesn't change anything, so it wouldn't make it as cool. So maybe not necessarily her, but a previous version of her that like they retcon, like the librarian before her could do something cool. Or like you were saying, if they go farther back in time, they can use a version of her like they kind of do, and then make that a very cool librarian. Which, because I mean, this picture that we have up on the screen, those robes mean something. They're used by the librarians in the past, like those little symbols.
Maybe she did some side missions, as a Jedi. She was the reason Dooku turned to the dark side or something. I don't know.
She did a fetch mission in one of her things, and her reward was special librarian robes. Here's your special librarian robe. She's like, yes. Got it.
They gave her free patch for the place wherever she wanted.
that is her story. I mean, I'm glad they gave her like a cool way out. Like she fought, 2 bad guys, and I mean, she didn't do it well, but she still fought 2 bad guys and lasted, lived longer than some. So that was cool that they gave her kind of a story, because I mean, honestly, she's got about 30 seconds in the movie. And
it's funny. She was cut from Revenge of the Sith. She was supposed to be in it, but she wasn't. And they left her in the original because she dies from Anakin in the temple before it was changing canon. for the better, obviously.
Yeah.
But in that, you see that happen in the Revenge of the Sith video game, and in the I think the novelization as well. But the game is where you see that happen.
Oh, actually, she dies quite a lot. It's like the
Oh,
other
she's not like Shock T over here dying like every 2 seconds. Every appearance is a new death. Every appearance of her reappearance, it includes a appearance of her dying.
That happens a lot, you know. Sometimes things happen, and we have to murder people several times to get the story right. But that's all right. We'll get through it. So anyway, I think that's it. Are we gonna head to the slides now?
Yeah, and the slides will have the rest of her story with some
All
comics.
right, let's do the slides. This might be a second here.
And her interesting figure selection.
All right, so what do we got here?
So, comic appearances, surprisingly a lot for a character like this. Regarding Legends, she appears in 2 issues. Issue 2 of Attack of the Clones is her first appearance, and on Kachoon's bookshelf there is Star Wars Purge: Seconds to Die #1. It's the flashback that features the death of Jocasta Nu in it. Canon-wise, Kanan the Last Padawan 7 is his first canon appearance, getting pissed off at Kanan for being a smarty. She appears into the arc that she appears in for Darth Vader is issue 6 to 8. Issue 9 is the first cover appearance, and issue 10 is the death. So issues 10 through 6 is the full 4-issue arc. And then Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple, mouthful of a name. Issue 1 and 5 is flashbacks when she was a Jedi High Council member. Basically, it's when Sierra is a Jedi Knight, and it's her with the temple and all that stuff. Connecting the librarians together, basically. And then
that seems like down a rabbit hole for that story.
Oh yeah. Movie TV, episode 2, Attack of the Clones is the first appearance, obviously. And then Clone Wars, she appears in 4 episodes. None of them are related to each other. They're just kind of like random episodes, like Holocron Heist, Lightsaber Lost, Assassin, and then the Lost ones is that near the end with Yoda, basically. So the issue 2 is her first appearance, I said earlier. She looks like her age if she's born in 68. I think that's her age right there, to be fair.
That looks older than 68. You think that's 68 right there? That's a rough ass 68.
That's a harsh, that's like 3 suns in the library. Like, okay, look how many LED lights are in that room. So, and there's the Count Dooku scene as well. They do that. They adapt that in there.
No, 68 BBY. I don't think that was her birth. That was around when
she became
Qui-Gon became Padawan.
Oh, okay. So then she's
older.
Yeah, definitely old. 68 is when she became the librarian, I believe, is what it said. It's around the same time.
Right. I think that's what I read.
Well, then yeah, she's been to imagine like double that then probably.
Speaking of that, what's up with your boy with the mask here? Because he looks like somebody just raising him out on that picture right there. That is crazy wrinkled.
So what's funny is on the bottom left there is her getting stabbed. This is coming from Plo Koon's like apprentice or not apprentice. Not Padawan either. I can't remember what it is. Like a youngling, basically, that's the same species as him, and he's remembering, like thinking about like how he died and all that stuff. And you actually get to see Plo Koon's species with the mask off in that far right panel.
We're not going to talk about what that looks like. We're just going to skip past that.
Terrible. But yeah, so Anakin kills her in that. In the
if
Legend.
you get any Legends Darth Vader, that's a really good story. I mean, that's a good book.
This Purge one? I haven't read that.
Yeah.
Or just cover 2. Then, following that up, is the first canon appearance. Kanan's there asking questions of her in the temple about like records and stuff. Mace Windu is furious looking. He is not happy there. And Jocasta has a little bit more different outfit there too, some blue going on.
She did. And this is back whenever he was still called Caleb, if you're confused why they
Caleb. What's the sorry, Kachin?
I was just saying Windu's never happy.
Never happy.
He's always furious.
So I just included here all the covers from the arc that she appears in, the Darth Vader series. So 6, 7, 8 on the top, 9 on the bottom left, and 10 on the bottom right.
Oh my gosh, that's why I know that story so well. Because I think I've read this like twice, 2 or 3 times probably.
Yeah. Well, because the Grand Inquisitor is where his first big arc is, and then
because I think this is like one of the first comic book like groupings I bought when I got back into comic books. I think it was this. I think I bought all of those.
I hope we still have them all.
I think so. I think
You
I got most
more
of
them than me.
Same here. So that's the covers there, and then some detailed ones. So issue 6, where she first shows up in it at the very last page, her having some coffee, in a cave.
That's the more pricey one, right? Because of other things.
For Grand Inquisitor's first cover appearance.
Right.
Look at that face right there.
Yeah. So
look at her face. Look how pissed she is.
So she's like walking, going, ignore him. Just don't ignore. And he throws it, and it's over. Jumps over the railing instantly. Scares the living shit out of him. He's like, whole.
That's hilarious.
The book probably didn't even hit the floor by the time she landed on the table.
No way. No, it definitely didn't bounce. It might hit the floor once, but it didn't bounce a second time. And she was up there like an angry goblin. Look at that. She's like, Mrah!
I mean, most librarians are kind of like that when you bring your books back late.
That's true. If you bent the spine when you're reading it too much.
Oh man.
Oh, there's a cover. I didn't even see that.
This is our first cover appearance, issue 9 from the back. That's a thing. Would you count this as over the shoulder? It is an over the shoulder POV.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm gonna say pretty close to it. Yeah, I would probably give it a nod as an over the shoulder. I mean, it is the most over the shoulder. She's just not facing us, I guess.
That's true. Just not facing us. Yeah, that's the moment here. Commander Fox and we're in the ship. He throws them all out as soon as he's Anakin. The clones in that one panel of Vader just looking at him, going, "Oh, we're dead."
Yeah, she said, "This man is Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi Knight," and they just look at him, and they probably were like, "Oh Jesus, I hope I die in the fall, not the landing."
I will have a heart attack in the air. And then on the right is when Jocasta is crushing the explosion.
Yeah, but hold on, okay? You got to look at what this is. Tell me this. This is kind of badass a little bit. And me, what becomes of me? So be it. And she just waits for the end to come. She don't put up a fight. She don't try to talk him out of it. She don't say, "I still see good in you, Anakin." She just says, "All right, so be it." She lights up a cigarette or whatever. Let's go. And waits for the end.
And then you got it's issue 1. So there she is in the temple, just relaxing in her robes in the chair, bottom left there.
And top left. She's getting just as much wording time as in the movies, like none. She just happens to be there.
I mean, it's probably more than the rest of the council members. But at the end, she does have some speeches. Just say some words.
Nice. I appreciate that.
And by words, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 words. But yeah, so that's her really last appearance as well. Haven't seen her in comics since, but I would wager High Republic would be probably the most appropriate place to find her next.
Can she live to be an how far back is Old Republic?
Well, High Republic. The very end of the High Republic leads.
I thought you said Old Republic. I was like, how old do we think that little goblin is? Oh my gosh. She's like Yoda, man. No wonder she aged so much. Holy cow.
She's been training with you.
That says figures and toys, not Gurras and toys. It says figures and toys. I'll prove it to you. See? Figures and toys. What do we got?
So,
what is this?
This is what we have. She has one figure. That's it.
Where'd you get this picture from?
You don't know how hard it was to find a quality picture that wasn't 140p. This is an exclusive, is the Kenner style, like the vintage series. Exclusive.
It's a con, isn't it?
A toy shop. No, a toy shop.
A toy shop.
Not any toy shop that you would know of.
A toy shop.
And let me pull up here.
That's a cool toy, though. Is that the Count Dooku statue? Does it come with the Count Dooku statue?
Yes, it's a Count Dooku statue.
Oh my
The box
gosh!
closes up, and it has her inside like the regular figure, but it has a whole set there. Let me pull this up here. 1 second. Let me zoom in here and get a look at this. Character debut, it says on it, by the way.
Well, there are 2 there. One just doesn't have her in it.
Yeah, they just have on the picture has one on the left. It's just the card stock for some reason, but it's just basically it's within the box there. Yeah, that was the highest quality I could find.
But
it is a Brian's Toys exclusive.
Dude, how much money does Brian's Toy have? They can make an exclusive like that.
Yeah.
Shout out Brian Toys.
2012 it came out.
That was $25? Oh, that's 2012 money. Okay, that's like $400 today. Deflation.
But yeah, that's her only toy, which is super interesting. That happens to be like an exclusive, like at a random toy shop. Not so Target random. Or Walmart or Toys R Us or anything.
Is that toy shop in Canada?
Oh no! So Brian's Toys in 1999 was the worldwide leader in Star Wars toys and collectibles, attending the first Star Wars celebration.
There you go.
They're an OG apparently.
Wow.
All right then. Well, shout out Brandon. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's not a real Lego. That's a.
So yeah, that's the funny thing. I thought there'd be a Lego of her. There isn't. This is from the Skywalker Saga video game. They have a figure of her there, and she gets pissed off at you in the temple. She's trying to get you to fix some books, and if you're doing it wrong, she starts snapping at you. Not with a lightsaber though, mind you. But
hey, Lego. I know you guys watch this. I know you guys subscribe to my channel. You're missing out because I'm gonna tell you right now. I have never bought a Lego figure. I mean, I have Legos, but I've never went out and bought a figure. If you can give me this character with the Count Dooku's head, like that, like the toy store head, that's an automatic buy right there for me because I want the Count Dooku statue with her sitting next to it. It'd just be funny.
All right. Mm-hmm. And a book.
And 1 book.
Is that it then?
Lit up though.
Is that it?
That would be it for her. She does not have anything else I could find of no statues, no hot toys. Very sad. No
I don't know how much in demand she's gonna be on the hot toy market, but maybe Star Wars fans will buy anything. They recreated
that scene of her on the desk with this lightsaber out.
That would be
yeah.
The amount of head molds you have to go to find that creepy little face of her just screeching. Like
you can have her doing that, screeching, or you can have her just caressing Dooku's cheeks and just like staring into his eyes.
Scolding Obi-Wan, caressing Dooku's cheeks.
Well, all right. Well, that is the great librarian, Miss Nu. We appreciate it watching. Appreciate you hanging out with us. You can watch us live on Twitch, 7:30 most times. Usually not normally at 7:30. We try. Or I re-upload these, or don't re-upload them. I upload them on Friday, YouTube, and you can watch it on YouTube. Thank you very much.